Greetings coders, this is our instructional video on program number 3. Program number 3 is a program that will take the user's first name and last name separately as input and greet the user using their first and last name. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is create a text input for the user's first and last name. So again, if you're a beginner, let's go ahead and just drag two text inputs. So if you hit the run button, you'll see that it has two inputs, both name ID and both with the word text. So first things first, we're going to make the first text input box for the user's first name. So we're going to ask the user politely, please enter your first name. And on the second text input, we're going to say, please enter your last name. Okay. And if we hit the run button, you'll see that we have two input boxes, one for the first and one for the last name. Now you can see that they gave me a warning that it says that the name ID is already used. Now ID is default name given to our UI elements, but we know better and we're going to go ahead and give it unique names. We're not going to call this user input user first name. And we're going to call the text input for the second one user second name. Or sorry, user last name. Okay, so now we got two text boxes that will accept the user's input. So for example, they can do something like this. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is create a button that when the user finishes writing their first name and last name, that they can click on the button to combine their first and last name. Okay, the reason why we need this, because if we use an onEvent command that waits for the user to change the first name, it's just gonna say hi Steven and won't say hi, Mr. Steven Wynn, because you told it to just wait for the first name to change. Well, how do you know they didn't finish their last name yet? So we're gonna create a button that the user would need to manually click once they're done combining writing their first and last name. So how do you create a button? You simply drag the button command into your program. Let's go and hit the run button. So the run button creates a button that says text on it. Now the button command creates a button. The first argument is the name given to the button, and the second argument is the text that appears on the button. Okay, so we're going to change the text on the button, and let's just call it combined. And we're going to name the button, let's just call it the combine button. Okay, and we're going to run our program, and you can see now that our interface is starting to make sense. We're going to be able to type in the first name, type in the last name, and hit the combine button, and it will actually combine their first and last name. All right, so the question is, now we want to greet the user. We want to greet the user by doing a write command. So let's just go ahead and make a write command. And again, if you're not ready to do text-based, you can go ahead and drag and click the write command. And I'm just going to say hi, and I'm going to say, well, the user's first name and last name. Now remember, we can combine text by using the plus button, because basically what I want to do is take the text from user's first name and then take the text from user's last name, combine it, and put the word hi in front of it. Okay, so it's something like this. Now remember that we tried this before, where we just simply type in user's first name. But remember, all IDs have to be put in parentheses. Okay, all IDs or names of user interface elements have to be put in parentheses. So basically what we want to say is hi, Mr. Wynn. So let's go ahead and just run our program and see what it does. And you can see right here that it says hi, user first name with no spaces, user last name. And that's not what we want. What we really want is the user, whatever the user put in, to put into here. So if you remember from our previous program, we use a function called getText. And all getText does is take the text from the UI element and extract it for us. So we're basically extracting the user text and from the user interface and inserting it into this sentence. Okay, so it's meant to say, hi, get the text from the user element. So in my case, hi, Stephen, get text, win. So it's going to say, hi, Stephen, win. That's what ideally what we want. Now, maybe we could add a little bit of spacing here. So we're going to do another plus sign and just add a space so that there's a space between the user's first name and the user's last name. Okay, you can see right here that inside our output window that the first name and last name don't even have a space in between them. Okay, let's see if our program works. So you can see here that it doesn't wait for me to hit the combine button, and it says, hi, please enter your first name, please enter your last name. Well, basically what it's doing is getting the text from the box, but it didn't wait for the user to actually enter in their first and last name. So this command, although written correctly, doesn't take place when we want it to. It takes place right away. What we want to do is wait for what? The event for the button, the user to click the button, then execute the right command. So again, like we covered in our previous lesson, we're going to use the onEvent command. So I'm going to drag onEvent right into line 17. And again, onEvent does what? It waits for an action to occur on a UI element and then execute the code. So when do we want everything to happen? We want it when the user clicks the button. Well, we didn't call it ID, we called it the combine button. So you can control copy and highlight ID and control paste. So basically the onEvent command will execute when someone clicks the combine button. And what do we want to happen when they click the combine button? We want this to happen right here. We want them to say, hi, Mr. Win, or hi, Stephen Win. Okay? So let's go ahead and run our program now. So the first thing you notice is that it didn't actually write anything. Why? Because it's waiting. It's waiting for the user to click the combine button. So now I can come in here and actually enter in my name. So I'm going to enter my first name, enter my last name, and then hit the combine button. And guess what? It works. It says, hi, Stephen Win. Okay? All right. Now, you notice when we run our program, when I click on this, please enter your first name, I actually had to sit here and either delete this whole instruction or I had to double click and delete the whole instructions, right? That's not very user friendly. So actually on the, also in this video, I'm going to teach you how to add this feature right here. We're going to what? We're going to clear the text whenever the user clicks on the text input, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So how do we do that? Well, again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to clear the box when the user clicks on the box. So just by the way I said that, you have to realize that we're going to be using an onEvent command. We're going to wait for the user to click on the user first name. And what do we want to do? We want to clear the text box. We don't have a command yet that teaches us how to clear what's in the text box. Well, we have something called setText. So it's similar to getText, which retrieves text from the user interface element. We have a command that can set the text given the name of the user element and what text to change it to. So we're going to drag and click setText into here. So basically what I want is that when the user clicks on the user's first name, the box, I want this command to set the text of that interface element, user first name element, to nothing. Literally what we call empty parentheses. Nothing. Okay, so let's see if this works. We're going to hit the run button. So if I click on this box, it should run this command. set the user element to nothing. And guess what? I click on it and it already deletes that box for me. So it's more user friendly now for me to enter my name. Now obviously if I click on this one, it's not going to work. I didn't create one for the last name, but you can see how like I have to sit here and double click on it and hit backspace before I can enter in my last name. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the same thing. So if we're going to do exactly the same thing but for last name, you can simply copy and paste the on event command and change user last name and user last name. So basically this is the same thing as this command, except now it's going to use it for the user last name. Let's go ahead and run our command and see if it works. So I'm going to type in my name. And you can see that it deletes the instructions for me and it makes it more user friendly. And now it will say literally, "Hi, Stephen Wynn." Just real quickly, just because I like proper punctuation, let's go ahead and add a plus sign to the back of this write command and go ahead and put in parentheses and put in a period. Okay, so basically I'm adding 4 strings. It's going to say hi, whatever your first name is, with a space, whatever your last name is, plus a period on the back of it. So let's go ahead and test our program one more time. And now it has proper punctuation. And that's it. This concludes our instructional video on program number 3.